Hello there, this is Ian with Votocycling. I'm here to talk about disc golf today, and I just want to make a disclaimer. This video is more towards women who want to get into disc golfing, or young teenage girls who want to get into disc golfing, because the disc I throw and the distance I throw are not anywhere near what the men or the guys can throw, okay? So anyone who's watching this who's not a girl, you might not enjoy as much because you're probably going to ask me, why are you throwing that at 200 feet, blah, blah. That's because I can't throw 500 bazillion feet. So please understand that this video is for women who are getting into disc golfing. I'm just going to talk about my bag. I've been playing since 2008, and as a girl, it's really hard to throw far because you just don't have the muscles for it. But I've got my technique, and I can throw about 350 to 380. So, and I'm a casual player. I'm not a competitive player. So I think it fairly is adequate for the golf courses around me. I can play a really good round with that kind of distance. So therefore, let's get started. I'm going to talk about my discs, and then I'll talk about the bag. So any girls who are interested in my what I throw and what kind of bag I use, here we go. Alright, so let's start with the discs, and then I'll talk, when the bag is empty, I'll talk about the bag. Alright, so first of all, I play with a mini. I just play with a mini just because this disc golf is a game about trying to beat yourself. Try to beat the previous score that you had. So I use a mini to help myself be competitive with myself, if that makes any sense. Just to keep my mindset, you know, that when I get to a shot, put the mini down, and it just gets me in the motion, even though I don't play competitively. But there you go, I have a mini. Next thing are my putters. I carry 2 putters. Actually, I carry a total of 6 putters, but we'll get to that in a minute. This is my oldest putter. It's the most beat up, as you can see. I've had this for 3 years now. It flies very understable, but therefore I use it for jump putts, and I use it for putting sometimes, because it's just so understable now, and I can control it much easier, and it's very sensitive to specific wrist movements when I throw it. So therefore I use it for a lot of times outside the circle putts. Okay, my next putter is the blue version of the magnet. It's not as beat up as the black one, but it's still beat up enough to where I don't use it off the tee often. I do use it for some approaches, but that's where I mostly use it is for approaches or 15 or 20 foot putts. That's what I use that for. Alright. The next 2 putters are also magnets, so I carry total 4 magnets. They are just newer versions. This one has a 3 on it, this one has a 2 on it. It keeps track of which one I've beat up the most. So this has a 1 on it, and that's the most beat up, as you can see. And then I have the 2, which is slightly beat up, but not completely beat up. And then I have the 3, which is the newest one and is the most stable, because it's the newest. The other 2 putters are Challengers. I have a Pro Challenger, which I found in a swamp, and for some reason I threw it and I loved it so much I kept it since. This is actually, I found this back in probably 2008. So I've had this in the bag for quite a while. I throw this off the tee when it's about 200 feet or so. If it's 270, 280 downhill, then I throw this off the tee. I prefer this. I prefer throwing this off the tee, especially if there's a little bit of a breeze or a little bit of 10 to 15 mile per hour wind. I'll throw this off the tee. And then the Challenger I use for a lot of approaches. So if you remember earlier, on one of my blue putters, I used to do a lot of the approaches, but this one I use the most because it's got the most glide. And any approach shots that are 100, 150 feet and out, I will use this as approach. So 150 to 200 feet, I'll try to use this to do an approach, either downhill or hyzer. If I throw on an ante, it will ante in, but then it will straighten out before it lands. And that's why I like this disc. So this is the Midnight Z Challenger. Alright, those are my putters. Now moving on to my mid-ranges. I have one Z Comet that I've been trying. I throw this flat, and then it will ante go to the left, and it will just land flat, going down. If I throw it on a slight hyzer, it will actually turn up a little bit, and then it will hyzer in. So that's how this one flies for me. Okay? Otherwise, it's if I throw it on an ante, it stays on the ante, and it just stays there, and it lands down to the right. So it's good for ante shots. I carry 2 buzz. Actually, I'm sorry, 3 buzz. The other one's over here somewhere. Here we go. So there's 3 buzz. This one is the least stable out of all 3. So, and it's also the lightest as well. Maybe that's why it's not as stable. This one, I throw it flat, it stays flat. I throw it hyzer, it stays hyzer. I throw it ante, it stays ante. That's pretty much what this one is. This one, I throw it flat, it stays flat and goes down. It finishes to the left pretty strong compared to the orange one. This one, if I throw it on hyzer, it stays on hyzer and it finishes very strong. And this one, if I throw it ante, it will actually pop. It'll stay on ante for a little bit, pop a little bit, and then kind of finish straight down. So it's a bit more stable. It's a heavier buzz compared to the orange one. This one is for headwind shots. Out of all 3 buzzes, it's more stable. It's the TI version, so of course it's more stable for me than the other 2. So this one, if there's like a wind 10 to 15 miles an hour, then I'll throw this one. Okay, so that's my mid-range. Moving on to the fairway drivers. First one is the zombie. This one I'm trying it out. It really reminds me of a kind of semi-beat buzz, except faster. That's what it reminds me of. I can throw this probably 250 to 280, and this thing just glides like crazy, and I'll finish flat like this instead of hyzer in. I'll finish more flat. So that's what this reminds me of. If I throw it on an ante like this, it will stay on that ante for a very, very long time because it just glides forever. And so that's the zombie. Next 2 discs are Stalkers. I'm in love with these Stalkers. It's a little bit more stable than the zombie, but this one is so beat up that actually now it just reminds me of a longer buzz. It will do whatever I tell it to do. If I throw it on a hyzer, it will stay on that hyzer the whole entire way and finish. Same thing with an ante. And if I throw a flip hyzer, if I try to throw a flip hyzer, I throw a little bit like this, it'll flip up. So a straight hyzer like this, it'll stay in the hyzer. If I just throw it flip just a little bit, it'll flip up a little bit, go to the right a little bit, and then come back, finishing to the left. So that's what this one does now. This, same thing with the TI Buzz. It's a more stable version. I throw it in the wind. Any 10, 15, 20 mile per hour wind, I pull this out. Alright. So that's my mid-range. Some of my long-range, long-distance drivers. I'm trying out the Escape. This was given to me as a gift. I actually like it. The Lucid plastic gives me a lot of grip. So I have taken out my Surge and put this in. I know. Why would I do that? But anyway, the reason why is because the Surge was getting beat up and it didn't have as much grip as this. Even though the Surge was a Z plastic, this just for some reason has much more grip and it's just as durable as the Z plastic from Discraft. So I started using this, and this one flies more stable. I can throw it on an ante and it literally will come back and dive like a bomb. So I like it. And the rim is a little bit smaller than the Surge. That's why I also like it for my small little hands. My other 2 discs are a Lucid Trespass, which I'm trying out because I'm trying to replace my Pro Destroyer. I love the Pro Destroyers. I used to throw a lot of Destroyers. But I stopped throwing them because the Pro plastic would beat in so quick and I would have to literally get a new one. So therefore, I started trying the Trespass, which flies very more similar to a Star Destroyer. And the Lucid plastic is grippy, just like the Pro, but it doesn't beat in as quick, just like the Pro. So therefore, I started trying it out. Still doesn't doesn't have as much glide as the Destroyers, but close enough. So that's why it's in the bag. So that's, you can see this Destroyer is just off the tee, 350-foot shots. That's what this Destroyer is good for. That's what I throw it for, and I'm trying the same thing with the Trespass. My last 2 are Nukes. Very fast discs. The ESP beats it on much quicker than the Z plastic, but this goes 350 to 380, and sometimes on a good day, I mean a really good day, I can probably throw 390, 400 feet. but it has to be a really good day. And this disc is less stable than the Z plastic for me, so I throw it in a hyzer, it flips up, stays like this for a while, and then it finishes like this. If I throw a little bit Annie, it'll stay in the Annie a little bit, and then it'll come back very slowly because it's so beat in. The Z, however, if I throw it on a hyzer, it doesn't flip up much. It just kind of like tries to flip up a little bit, and then it just finishes very strong compared to the ESP plastic. This one, if I throw on an Annie, it literally would do an S shot, unlike the ESP. So therefore, this one's a little bit more stable. So again, this one in the wind, 10 to 15 miles an hour, I would throw this on a very much like a slant, and it will flip up and then finish. Okay. So those are the disc in the main compartment. The last disc in the main compartment is a Judge. I'm trying it out. It's a gift from my friend. I actually like it. I just need another one because I practice with two, and I need a lot of time practicing in order to get used to a new putter, especially putters. It's hard for me to find a good putter. So I actually like it, I just need another one. That's why it's the trial version. Okay, the other two discs that I'm trying is the Turn. I bought it just for giggles. It's similar to a Destroyer, except less stable, and I actually liked it. It's just, I don't know if I can find room in my bag because I have a Destroyer in there already. It might replace a Destroyer, I don't know, but it's a disc I'm trying. Alright, and this last disc, the Prodigy D4, the flight profile, the description was thought to be similar to the Nuke. That's why I was going to try it, because the grip was really cool. Except when I got the disc, it flew nothing like the Nuke. So I thought I was crazy, went online, looked it up, and people were having probably the same issues as me. Some of them said it flies very much like the Nuke, some of them said it flies very much like the Nuke SS, and some of them said, oh no, it flies nothing like the Nuke SS. And then this is the one I got. It flies nothing like any Nukes. As a matter of fact, it's so overstable that I just didn't care for it at all. So that's the Prodigy D4. And now for the rest of the bag. So now I'm going to talk about the bag. I started on a competition, an Innova competition disc golf bag. Gave that to my brother, and I upgraded to this. I've had this for 4 years now, and it's been amazingly awesome. So as you can see, remember here, this is the putter bag. This is where the two putters go. It's very roomy, as you saw earlier. This side of the bag right here, this is 32-ounce cup holder. Very cool. In here is for scorecards, fruit bars, pictures, business cards. I have my Buzz patch. I love my Buzz. And then a bag full of towels. I like my disc very dry, so therefore, and myself. So therefore, I carry lots of towels. Big towel, and then 2 little towels, and this is actually a pair of socks. Because I go swamp swimming sometimes, and therefore I tend to get my feet wet. This little hook right here has saved me so many times. I hook my keys on here. The few times I didn't hook my keys, it would actually drop down here, and I literally have to dig everywhere for it. So this helps keep the key afloat. I'm not sure what these rings are for. I put these rings on, but I'm not sure what these hooks are for, so I never use them. These zippers are actually very durable. Alright, moving on to the main compartment. As you can see, the roll cage is in here. Right here. I put this cardboard in here actually to help keep the corners of the roll cage from rubbing it on the ground and scrubbing the bottom of the bag and ruining it. So therefore, that's why I put the cardboard in there. And so that's what the roll cage looks like. All my drivers are on this side. Everything else is on this side. The compartment has a cover. The main compartment has a cover like this with a zipper. The zipper's all the way around. It actually tucks into the back right here, and I'll show you that later. It tucks in right here. This is a rain fly that actually comes up from the back as well. Has the Revolution logo on it. And it actually hooks in like this. I will try and show you. Sorry about that boob rub there. The rain fly goes in like this, and it attaches all the way at the bottom, and you're good to go. It covers, keeps your putters dry and the main compartment dry. Alright, and this all tucks into the back of the back like so, like that. And along with this, when you're not using it, it tucks all the way in the back, and therefore you can have access to your main compartment. Alright, the other side of the bag is very similar. It's got this same big pouch right here. I have my Buzz patch that's falling off. I have the same compartment for your scorecards, some clip-on refills, business cards, other papers, maps, whatever. And then my Nuke patch. I have my pen, this is my pen, this is my marker to write down any aces, another 32-ounce cup holder with a dirty towel, don't mind that. I have a long sleeve shirt for those mornings when I go golfing at 5-6 o'clock in the morning. Some more towels. I'm a towel nut, as you can see. You can never have enough towels when you're golfing in the rain. Off to fight off mosquitoes with no refill, of course. And then this big giant towel down here. Again, I go swimming in the swamp a lot sometimes when we're just out looking for discs. I will actually go in the swamp, so therefore I carry those towels in there. And sometimes when you're being stupid and you throw a disc, I've done that in the swamp and I don't want to lose it, so I go in there and grab it and then I come out with 5, which is awesome. Alright, so that's that other compartment. These zippers, as you can see, are really good. This is really durable D material. I forgot what it is, but it's really durable. You can look it up and you'll find out. On the back of the bag there's a little bit of padding right here. This is to hold an umbrella, which I never do because I just walk in the rain. And you saw this pocket earlier where the rain fly and the flap here tucks in, just like that. And then the rest of it is these little hooks right here is for the quad system. So a hook right up here and a hook right here for quad system. And the quad system that I have right now are the Phoenix quad shocks. This for some reason worked out really well because I had some different straps earlier, a couple years ago or last year, and I'm so short that it didn't really fit. So it was hanging on my butt. The bag was hanging on my butt. These are really good. I'm 5'3", and this fits me perfectly. So for all of you short women disc golfers, get the quad shocks. They can strap this to your back and not your butt. Alright, if you have any questions, let me know. Message me. I will talk to you later. This is my bag. It's called the Revolution Carolina disc golf bag. I'm not sure if they still make them anymore. So if someone is selling it used, try to get one. But that is my bag, and you've seen my discs. I will talk to you later.